Hello everyone, welcome to your Game Week 33 FanTeam stream with myself and last year's FanTeam winner, Josh Wooldridge. How you doing, Josh?
Hey, Az, I'm good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. Yep, still no money won for us last week. I really liked our team last week. I thought we were onto something really good there, but it just didn't happen, did it? But it was an exciting week of football. Son killed us.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were couldn't win after the Chelsea game, to be honest, because like there was Mount, Alonso,
Yeah.
even Havertz, even Timo. Some people had like, if you didn't have them, you were in big trouble from like after the 3 p.m.s. It was pretty much all over. So yeah.
We just avoided it, didn't we? We just avoided that Chelsea game. We were like, oh, Southampton could turn up. You wanted to pick Ward-Prowse. I was like, no, we don't want bloody Ward-Prowse again. And yeah, Chelsea just turned up, didn't they? And then the performance they put in against Real Madrid was amazing as well. What a game.
They were unbelievable. It was Tuesday night now, wasn't it? So well, that's to tell me I need to do a podcast. There we go.
Nice. I mean, it's 3 minutes late, but, good timer.
That's the kind of clock I work on, yeah. But yeah, Chelsea were absolutely brilliant on Tuesday. That game was like to follow the Liverpool City game that was like just a couple of days before. We've been treated to some real good stuff in the last few days.
Two best games of the season?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was another really good one. Maybe it was just when Liverpool played City the first time around when it was 2-2, but that was unbelievable as well. But yeah, those two. I loved Real Madrid against PSG as well when they came back. That was like one of my favourites of this season. But yeah, there's been a few, but the last week or so has been absolutely amazing.
Yep. Right, we are going to be talking Weekly Monster, as we always do on these streams. If you're not familiar with FanTeam, go and check it out. Essentially, there's a season-long game that you can play. There's a second half of the season game that starts sort of halfway through the season. Obviously, a bit too late to enter those now, but to keep you interested, they've got these kind of weekly games that open, and they're essentially like creating a free hit team each week. And if you score highly, you get in the points and you win some money. You've got to put your own money into this. It is a form of gambling, so be gamble aware. Make sure you don't gamble any money that you can't afford to lose. But it is a kind of a different way of playing FPL to try and use your fantasy knowledge to try and win a bit of extra cash. And obviously, Josh has had great success with that in the past. And you're having even more success this season because you're doing well in the Champions League, doing well in the second chance game as well. Muted, mate.
Mute.
Still mute.
But it's the unmute button. There we go.
Bit early for you this morning, isn't it?
I'll figure out how to get off mute, but it's just that unmute button. If anyone wants to learn about Zoom today. Yeah, so the Champions League game's going amazingly. It's one of those games where like everyone's going to have really similar teams, like from the last round onwards, and even more so from this round with Salah obviously playing like Villarreal at home, for example. So like, I think it's really them differential spots that are going to make the difference. So there's about 2 or 3 spots in your team for the next round where you're going to either make points or lose points. But yeah, it's very similar for everybody.
Yeah. No, nice, really good. And how are you getting on with the monsters, weekly monsters? Are you? Because I'm not doing well. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's not. You can start at like £1.60 a team. So it feels like an acceptable amount to lose kind of each week, but I think I've only won a bit of money like once or something. It is a lot harder than it appears. I would think that I could pick like a really good free hit team every week and sort of. I mean, when we started doing these streams, I was like, oh, I'm going to win loads of money doing this. I spent all my time doing fantasy football, but it is tricky because you like a game like that Chelsea game, like you say, like it's a game you avoid because you think it's hard to call, and then one team just goes absolutely kind of crazy, and you need to have hit all three to place well.
That's the key point. Like the point is like it's obviously very high variance. You're just picking one set of games. Like you can imagine your best ever FPL week and you can imagine your worst ever FPL week, can't you? You know what I mean? And that's what can happen in any given week on a monster, no matter how good your team looks. Like we've all seen it on FPL or FanTeam season long where you think your team's going to get 100 points and then it ends up on 30 points or something. And it's just like, how did that happen? Well, that's exactly what happens some weeks on the monster as well, right? You can set up the absolute perfect team and it just doesn't always work out. And in such a format, one game can cost you, as you hinted earlier. So like if you don't have the Chelsea players like last week in a 6-0, you're going to struggle to win. Obviously, I think it'd be very, very difficult to. In fact, so yeah. I think we just got to try our hardest, try and catch that one game where there's like lots of stuff happening, where we have one of our triple ups, for example, and then that's like a really nice base to try and do really well. And to ask how I've been doing, I have not been doing well the last 2 weeks because I had the Chelsea opinion last week, so that was like almost out from off the bat. You know what I mean? Last week, and then the week before, I think I won 50% of my money back. So like I didn't lose everything, but like I halved my bankroll for that week, basically. So yeah, again, not good. I struggle to remember what happened the week before, but I remember pretty distinctly what happened last week. So
yeah, it's an interesting week this week because the FA Cup games are included. So normally it's just the Premier League games that we look at. Obviously, the Man City Liverpool game and the Chelsea Crystal Palace game are this weekend as well. So they're both included. So the games this week are Watford Brentford, Southampton Arsenal, United Norwich, interesting one, City Liverpool, West Ham Burnley, Newcastle Leicester, and then Palace Chelsea, the final game. Tricky week, this one. There's a lot of games here which I find quite hard to call, including the obvious easy win for Man United, which, knowing United, they'll probably make a hash of it.
Yeah. So when United is, because we'll come on to the prices in a minute, but United are very heavily priced. You've got to try and weigh up whether that like you might think fair enough, United are definitely going to beat Norwich, but are they going to beat them by 4-0? Like will it is it justified to pick like the most expensive players on the game, like to play Norwich, or do you think it'll be like a 1 or 2-0? In which case you might not want to like sort of pay up for these really expensive assets. And yeah, just to note on the FA Cup games, I really like what they're doing here. Like they're trying to think outside the box at FanTeam. They're trying to do different stuff, you know what I mean? And like just throwing in the FA Cup games to make the slate a bit like a few more games on it is a really nice idea. And let's see if it's popular.
Yep. So what games do you like the look of here? Let's kind of exclude United, Norwich. Any standouts?
I know one you're going to like the look of because I know you think Watford are absolute garbage at home, and I think the stats prove that. So I think you're going to like your Brentford boys from last week again, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean Leeds just absolutely tore them apart, didn't they? And that was a crucial game. For these home games for Watford are crucial, but when you can't win at home and you're coming into the final straight of the season where your winnable games are all at home, not a good combination.
I still like a lot of the Liverpool players. I know we had this exact game last week, and I think it's going to be similar lineups, to be honest, based on what Liverpool did last night with rotating everybody. So I really like the Liverpool prices again. Like whenever you can get Salah for 9 million, I think Bruno Fernandes is like 14.6 or something. Like I'd just take Salah every day of the week in that comparison. You know what I mean? So I love his price this week, and he's had a full rest. So yeah.
He did come on for a bit,
yeah.
I mean, basically it for us. Let's take a look at some of the prices then. So this is always interesting when you go over to the FanTeam site and you click on the Monster Team. Links are in the description for that if you're interested. You look at the sort of the prices and you see who's at the top. Well, it's all United players, like you said. Fernandes top 14.4, Ronaldo's 14.2, Rashford, Sancho, Cavani, Pogba. Going all the way down, and then you've got Bowen, and then you've got the Chelsea players. So it's United, it's a couple of West Ham, and then it's Chelsea. They're the kind of the popular picks this week. I mean, that Chelsea Palace game. I mean, last week I would have said I actually make Palace the favourite for this, and then Palace go and lose to Leicester. Chelsea, that's 6-0 against Southampton, and then really narrowly miss out against Real Madrid. And now I think I'm swinging back to Chelsea. But do you think that Champions League game is going to take it out of them a bit?
It's got like we don't know how they're going to react, but it's so deflating the way they went out after playing like probably the best game of their season, maybe, or like definitely up there. They just left themselves just too much to do after the first leg, didn't they? Because I always thought Real Madrid were going to score in this second leg, which makes it really hard for Chelsea. But they did the hard part. I really like their prices here. Like if I compare them directly to the Man United players, who are like a couple of million more at least, I do really quite like the prices here.
Reece James under 10 million, for example, 9.8.
That's unbelievable. Like that one's the one that stands out to me. I also think you can take a punt on probably one of the midfielders. I think it's going to be hard to afford a couple, but I think like one of Havertz or Mount are really, really good. And can we dare to utter Timo Werner? Like, is it time now?
I mentioned him on Black Box last night and got absolutely ridiculed for it. I don't hate it. I mean, he's 11.9 in this, which seems like a lot. He's better suited as a counter-attacking player. He's not going to have as much space in this game as he has done because Palace are well disciplined, right, and well drilled. I think he starts though. I think he's part of Chelsea's strongest team at the moment, which was borne out by the fact he started in that game against Madrid. But 11.9, I mean, you can have Havertz for 12.2 or Mount for 12, all around the same price.
Yeah, and you do have that peace of mind with Mount and Havertz that they do have a full safety net, whereas Werner's got nothing. So if he was to miss out, you've got nothing. You've got no striker, or you've got a cameo from Werner, rather, I should say. If he comes on, you'll only get the sub appearance. So I think I like the peace of mind with Havertz or Mount, to be honest. But Timo, if he was a midfielder, I'd be all over it. I think with a safety net, I think he's looked absolutely amazing.
He has. I mean, the Southampton game, he could have had 5 goals. It was just ridiculous. The amount of times he hit the post and everything. I think we stick with Havertz or Mount though. I'm happy to take your lead on which one we go for. I've been impressed with both of them, to be fair. It's been Mount that's been getting the points, but Havertz has been playing really well.
I think I'll take Havertz this time. I think it could be one of those where Mount's had the points in the last 2, and it might be Havertz's turn now as the striker as well. I always like the out of position guy. So.
Let's take a look at Liverpool City then. So you mentioned Liverpool being kindly priced, like Salah's 9, Jota's 8.8, Mane 8.6. In defence, Trent you can have for 7, got the assist in the last game. Robertson 6.9, Van Dijk 6.6. Looking at City,
I like both sides. I was going to say, I think Cancelo 7.8 or something. I love that.
City are a bit more. So Mahrez is 10.3, De Bruyne is 10, Foden's 9.8, Sterling's 9.6, but there's not huge amounts in it. Yeah, and then Cancelo, like you mentioned, 7.8. Who are you backing for this one then?
I mean, like, what have we got to go on? It's been 2 score draws so far this season. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those have been the results in these games. Like, I could just see it being the same again, like an absolute classic. And one thing worth noting is it does only count for 90 minutes on FanTeam. So the only 90 minutes count for the FA Cup games. So it won't count extra time if it was to go the distance. Any points scored in extra time won't score, which is quite significant, I think, when we're starting to add FA Cup into the mix.
How often can Liverpool keep fighting back, though? I mean, they were 2-0 down in the first game against them and fought back to 2-2. City could have been out of sight by half-time the other day, and Liverpool managed to claw back twice in that game. You've got to feel that City are the better team and eventually will win a game against Liverpool because they just are playing better than them. So my instinct is to back City in this.
There's a few factors here because, as I said, Liverpool players got a good rest last night, if not a full rest, as you said. So I think the defenders all got full rests, but like the likes of Salah came on. I think did Mane came on as well, definitely, because he had a goal disallowed, I think.
Yeah.
So like that, Liverpool have had that rest. Fabinho getting a rest is really important as well. Conversely, City played their absolute best team. Now I know they've got a little bit of depth, but De Bruyne went off injured. That did not look good last night. So missing De Bruyne for this game, probably that's definitely a downgrade. I think Kyle Walker got injured as well. I don't think he's looked great either. Yeah. So I do think City are a little bit weaker as a result of last night, and I think Liverpool are a little bit stronger as a result of last night. So I like both sides. I think we could maybe pick an attacker from both, just because
that sounds good.
Just because how good they're priced. And I'd go for the more expensive out of Mahrez and Sterling. So I presume it's Mahrez.
Yep.
And then I'd go for Salah, just because 9 million. I think that's a ridiculous price, to be honest.
Yep, they're in. Yep, I like that. That's all very sensible. Not like our FPL teams where we all had all the defenders, although they all managed to get some attacking returns. It was an amazing game. If the game's even half as good as that game, then I think we're going to be treated. What do you make of Newcastle Leicester then? Because let's talk about Newcastle Leicester and let's talk about West Ham Burnley, because these are the teams that are playing in Europe tonight. Leicester, really good performance against Palace. I didn't think they would win that. A 0-0 against PSV coming into that. I thought they'd rest players, and they did. Rodgers talks about it as well. West Ham, a grueling game with 10 men. They just got kind of seen off by Brentford. I mean, Burnley is a very winnable game for West Ham in that. I think Newcastle away is a tougher game for Leicester. So I'd probably back Newcastle, the two home teams in this, West Ham and Newcastle.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
They're I think Newcastle are more kindly priced than West Ham. Like I was looking at West Ham and like Souček's like 10-5, for example, or something like that. Like more 1-5 more than Salah. I just can't pay that. You know what I mean? I think Bowen's interesting, but he'll definitely get 90 or more this evening. I think they need him for this game. So does he miss out at the weekend? Like I'm not really interested in his safety net. I don't think. I think I'd only want Bowen. You know what I mean? So like I think he's a difficult one to pick as someone who's more than the Chelsea assets again. I just that doesn't sit right with me, I don't think. However, I don't mind the Leicester attackers actually, and I also don't mind both defences from the Newcastle Leicester game, because I think all the prices of what I've just mentioned are all really good. So I think you just have to have a read on that one up. I can see it being 1-0 either way again, like the Wolves game, to be honest. Like for Newcastle, I can see it being really, really tight. Yeah, so it's
Share's the obvious one in defence for Newcastle. I assume, or Dubravka, or both, or we go for the double up.
I think I like the double. Yeah, I like Share, Dubravka. I even like Target and Burn. I think they're all great. I think they're all really nice prices. I think Share and Dubravka though is really nice.
Yep. What about in attack? Bruno Guimaraes. He's my boy. He's my new bandwagon. I love him. I think he's absolutely amazing.
I think he's one of those. So to me, he seems like one of those players who is great to watch, but isn't an FPL asset. Like he bosses the team, and he looks like an absolute boss in the middle of the park. But I just think I think he.
Oh, you're completely right. But also, I love him. I find it's hard, isn't it, when you fall in love with a player like that and they don't quite hit the required standard to be, not having touches in the penalty area, not having shots on target, their XG is really low, all that kind of stuff. But I'm literally looking through the data, looking for any excuse to kind of see something. I think he's going to be a factor for us. I genuinely do. I think eventually he turns into an advanced attacking player for Newcastle, because. Yeah. He's too good to be used at the base. He could, all their attacks could go through him, like a kind of Odegaard type role, because his ability on the ball, his passing, like his tenacity, everything is perfect. So I like him, but you're probably right. It's probably a bit too. I'll probably have him on my team though, just to celebrate in case he does score. Okay, so we're going for the double Newcastle. Yep, sorry.
There's one striker I like on the game, and I was wondering if you could maybe try and guess who it is. There's literally one I really like this week.
It's not going to be Chris Wood, is it?
No, I don't mind him, but it's not from this game. No, I don't mind Chris Wood. I've got him sort of written down, but I can.
Striker you like? It must be Ivan Toney.
Yeah, I think he's just great this week. I think the price is really kind. I think
9-6.
He's got loads of upside this week. I think like they could score 3 this week, Brentford, couldn't they? Like you could see it. Like loads of teams have scored 3 away at Watford this year, and if they score 3, he's going to be part of some of it, isn't he? So
Eriksen 8-1. That's cheap as well.
He's the midfielder of choice for me as well from Brentford. I really like that price.
Yeah, I think so. So at the moment we've got Dubravka, James, Share, Havertz, Salah, Mahrez, Eriksen, Toney. So we've got 3 more spots.
We need to add a defender, right?
We do need a defender.
Minimum one,
yeah.
How much money we got?
Sheets? We got 30 million.
Bloody, that's loads. Plenty.
Yeah.
So some of the other defenders I wrote down, like I don't mind Arsenal defence again. I think we don't know what Southampton team's going to turn up, but I think Arsenal are quite cheap again. So I think picking one of them would be fine. Don't mind a Brentford defender away at Watford for the full triple up, because I think that could be a clean sheet as well.
Southampton's attacking stats, even though they've been terrible, have actually been pretty good. Their underlying numbers are decent over the last 6. I don't trust Arsenal defence. I want to avoid that.
What about?
I don't mind their attack. I don't mind going for like a Saka or someone, but I don't. I mean, 11 million for Saka is quite a lot though. Nah, I'm not a fan of the defence. They are quite cheap though. 8.3 for Gabriel, 7.9 for White.
Yeah, that was the point I was coming from, the cheap standpoint. But maybe a Brentford defender then. What do you think about that?
Could do that. Yeah.
Like Rico Henry or something. I think he's quite attacking, right?
Rico
Or
Henry sounds good to me. 7-2. Triple Brentford. Look at
yeah, I
that.
don't know.
They're kindly priced, though, considering they're playing Watford, who can't win at home, and they're in good form. I really like that. So
This
we got 11 million for 2 spots now.
this
Sorry,
is
11 million a spot.
this is my favourite thing about the Monster, the fact that you can end up on double Newcastle, triple Brentford. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like you're playing a free hit basically, and you're just targeting fixtures, and it's like you won't have any exposure to Brentford on any season long teams. You know what I mean? But you get to have like 3 of them on this, and maybe you'll be able to watch that game a little bit now. You know what I mean? And have a vested interest. So yeah.
If we do go for a Ronaldo or a Fernandes, that gives us around 8 million for our final spot.
Yeah, I like Fernandes. I think I'd go Fernandes if anything.
See, I'd go Ronaldo, but I'm happy to take your lead.
Ronaldo is nice for the reason it leaves another midfield slot, so you can just add another midfielder. So I don't think it's the worst idea in the world.
No, you're the expert, mate. We'll go with Fernandes. I just never feel that Fernandes is going to get points, and I feel like Ronaldo always can. I've just been so disappointed in Fernandes this season. Just been every week, he just seemed to disappoint more and more. I just don't know what's wrong with him. I don't understand how a player of his quality can just be so bad every week, like week on week on week. It's ridiculous.
Someone was saying like he's had a really disappointing season this year, but it's crazy because he started it with a hat trick against Leeds. I was like, I thought he was going to have one of the best seasons ever. Literally, I saw people backing him for top goal scorer in the league.
Yeah, I know. It's only when Ronaldo joined that it all went wrong. Absolutely crazy. We got 7.6 million to spend on our final spot. There's a couple of players here I like actually. I like Che Adams, given what I mentioned about Arsenal's defence. He's 7-3. Weghorst is 6-5 if we want to get 2 points. That'd be nice. Or Broja. Broja's 7-1. I think going for one of the Southampton strikers is the best use of this final spot.
Yeah, they were on my so I had Tony right at the top of my strikers list. I had Adams, Broja and Wood and even Pookie actually just below as like the other picks I like. So I love Che Adams. I think that's great. And he's got a full safety net as well. So if he doesn't start, you've got Broja, you've got Adam Armstrong, etc. So
yeah. Captain?
This is a fun one. I mean I think given that we're paying up for Fernandes, he has to be in the consideration. Just because he's so expensive. Do we go mad and go? Yeah, go on, mate.
It's got to be Fernandes, isn't it? It's either Fernandes or Tony. They're the two that.
Tony was the one I was thinking. I was like, is that wild? So. Like, do we just go with Tony? But like, I think given that you're paying for Fernandes, because otherwise I just think you're better off spreading the funds elsewhere and punting a cap if you want to go down that route. You know what I mean? But
I just don't trust him.
This might be a work in progress. I reckon you might end up tweaking this, like moving to Ronaldo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is where you can kind of add a couple of different teams in, and go for a Fernandes captain in one, Ronaldo in another, Tony in the other, that kind of thing, and kind of because you don't want to lose, you don't want to like not be in the money because you've got your captain wrong. That's why I like these kind of the £1 entries, because you can at least put the captain around and not lose it on a poor captain decision.
I think, right, because I think Ronaldo's going to start this one, and I think he won't start against Liverpool, right? That's what I think will happen in the next 2 games. So with given that we think Ronaldo's going to start and he's going to be on penalties, he probably is just better, isn't he? Like, especially if you don't trust Fernandes. Like, I think we've been convinced live on air. I think I prefer.
Yeah, but I always said Ronaldo. It was you that had to convince yourself.
I think you're right. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I think you're completely right.
As a first time in 33 streams, I've although you say that Fernandes is going to bang in a hat trick at the weekend, and we'll both be devastated. Yeah, let's go for Ronaldo. I probably will enter another team with Fernandes captain as well, just because you've said it. And I want to cover it.
I trust Ronaldo more with the captaincy, I think, this week. And I think you're right on that. And he does have he's got the fact that he shoots on sight, obviously. He's got the fact that he's on penalties. I think it's Ronaldo, yeah. I think once the captaincy comes into play, I think Ronaldo is better.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that gives us a team of Dubravka, James, Cher, Rico Henry, Havertz, Salah, Mahrez, Eriksen, Tony Adams, and Ronaldo captain. Lovely.
Tony Adams.
Tony Adams. The player that I forgot on that radio show where everyone laughed at me. Yeah. No, awesome. Right, excellent. I'm going to enter that. Like I said, if you're anyone listening to this on podcast or YouTube, head over to FanTeam, find the Weekly Monster game. You can join this and take part as well. Hopefully, we'll win some money. Josh?
Yeah, I know.
Monday.
Yeah, so I know some people like just like picking a game and that's just going to go nuts. If you had to pick one on here, like to just be like a 2-2 or a 3-3, which one would you pick out on the whole?
City Liverpool.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, so I think I would go with 4 attackers from that. If you really like fancy it, I think like I'd just like pick 2 from each side and hope you catch all the goals. You know what I mean? And I think that's a really nice way to play it this week.
Yep, no, completely agree. Nice one, nice and quick this week, nice and efficient. We didn't even have to mess around, with extra money, having to find extra money, all of that. Sometimes these streams go really well. We just pick a squad really quickly. And other times we're both like panicking over who to get in. But this was a good one. We'll be back next week ahead of Game Week 34. Thanks for watching, listening, everyone. Enjoy the weekend of football. Good luck with your FPL teams and your FanTeam teams.